All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. The number is 224-400-MARF, and anything can happen. But first, before we start, I just want to get the usual out of the way, which is to let you know that nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably, and definitely do not always represent my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, I also want to let you guys know if you're not getting notifications or you are somebody who is saying, hey, I didn't get notified, make sure to sign up for ours. You will get notified by push notification by going to marfooglenews.com. And then if you want to follow along on a second device, remember to go there as well. You can click on each one. It's very easy to navigate. Look for today's thumbnail, the next Pearl. And then once you see that, you can click on that, only much bigger this time. And of course, referencing the next Pearl Harbor. And then you'll see that we have every single article, every single tweet, every single video that we are going to show you here today is going to be on here. So you can actually read the rest of the article and finish it for yourself. On the right side of this, if you want to support the show, if you want to actually support a little bit more than just watching and sharing, you can go over to the right side. All of our affiliates and PayPal links are over there. Again, with the Amazon.com link, that is something that if you are already doing, if you click on that little box, you'll be using our link. That is something that basically won't put you out. It doesn't cost anything extra, and it helps the show. All right, Dex is my co-host and my internet brother. What is going on, Dex, and can we do a sound check?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So, obviously, we've got a ton that happened over the weekend. We're going to go over that right now. We'll get right into the first story, and then I'll be heading over to the chat to see what's going on with you guys. It says a former head of Israel's space program says the aliens asked not to be revealed. Humanity is not yet ready. Now, this has been big news over the weekend. You've seen a lot of Twitter threads about this, as far as the reason is because of this gentleman's exposition. This is, again, it's never a current, and for obvious reasons, it's never somebody who's currently in charge of something, because if they were current, they just wouldn't be current anymore if they said something like this. But this is a huge statement as far as him saying this. This not only gives credence to people and their sightings and everything else, but it also gives credence to the fact that to the people that are saying, hey, they're planning a false invasion or a fake alien invasion or whatever you want to call it. Is this yet another sign? I mean, over the last 2 years, how much information has come out? Even President T-Man said that he was going to release way more as far as all of this goes and let people know about, all of this. So we'll see how this plays out. As far as this goes, it says Professor Chaim Eshed served from 1981 to 2010 as the head of IS's security space program, and over the years received the Israel Security Award 3 times, twice for confidential technological inventions. Which is funny because his entire career, he was all about the secret stuff. And of course, the second he's done, he's like, let's put it on blast. It says, so if he went nuts, and this is possibility is always open, it would have happened over the past decade. And the reason we think that the good professor may have lost his marbles has to do with an interview he gave 7 days, the Shabbat edition of Yedioth Ahronoth. It says Israel's largest circulation for pay newspaper, in which he says, quote, the aliens have asked not to announce that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet. That's huge. Like, this is giant if it ends up being at all true. Of course, I know that all skeptics are, coming out in droves saying, and this guy's totally nuts. But what if he wasn't? What if, the what if here is pretty huge. What if there are aliens already amongst us, which I know many of you already believe they are already here and they're working with the government? If that was true, if that hypothetical situation was true, that's like straight out of They Live or They're Alive. Creepy thought. What do you guys think about it? I'll go over to the chat here and say hi to everybody. And what do you guys think about this coming out? Do you think that this is purposeful? Do you think that they're doing this for a reason? Again, it is Israel. So Again, lots of crazy stuff going on here. Let's go over here. It says Jen, Wisconsin is over on DLive. We've got The Truth Is Out There, Annette LaPow. We've got J. Millie RN, Sarah Connor, 39. We've got Unicorn Forest. Thank you so much for your support tonight. Kelly 2334, Foogle Fam VIP here. We've got Lori A. We've got much love to Mrs. Marf and the Marfettes. Well, thank you. The Truth Is Out There. I appreciate that. Unicorn Forest, thank you for being here. Scooby Dooey Do Right. Wolf 80. We've got Jen Lay Awake and hopefully her husband as well. Jubal, what's going on? It's nice to see you here again tonight. The Saxon. We have Karen from Columbus, Captain Morgan 42, Jeep 71, Jacktronics, all sorts of folks have piled in. Alien 99 says, they're already here. I saw them. They look like us. Now, they say that there's the tall blondes. They say that there's almost like they look like tall blonde Norwegians. I have a couple family members I sometimes worry about or wonder about, I guess. So, if you've ever seen, there are some people that genuinely do look very, out of this world. But what do you guys think? Over on YouTube, different story over here. It says that we've got homesteading in the heartland in the chat, which, by the way, I just talked to one of my neighbors, and they said that they are a fan of yours. In fact, don't tell them I sent you, but say hello to Anna Bell. It would be awesome if you did so. BP Earthwatch, coronal mass ejection, but remember, don't tell them that I told you. Open House says Scrappy Cat. Radar 468 says they are in the sky more and more. We've got BB, demons can shapeshift to look like humans. Susan Loves Huskies is here tonight. We've got GT, Twisted Luck Truth, Carrie, Kit Kat, and Fiddlesticks. Thank you guys. Apple Juice, nice to see you as well. Open House Texas, thank you for your generous support tonight. Says, do you think we will see martial conflict or martial obedience coming in, or a civil conflict trying to prep? Open House Texas, that is something that I don't think any of the preppers, anybody in this space knows for 100% sure is going to happen. But what I feel in my heart is I agree that at some point something has to snap. If you look at what is going on and if you look at how divided we are, it's pretty clear that, to me, it looks like an operation to do exactly that. And previous countries that are now somehow over the last few weeks, we're finding out we're actually closer to what's happened there than we actually thought. And if you look at other countries, exactly these things have happened. So again, I would say my 100% is on at some point something hitting Earth. But my 40% is a civil conflict. Let's see. Woke AF says some for your tum-tum. Nothing but respect for you, Dex family, and the Foogle fam. Well, thank you, Woke AF. I appreciate that. And Awake 2 is in the house. And thank you as well. You can always write a nice sentence there or write something and let me get to know you. Thank you. And then lots of new subscribers over the last night. Bob McBain, Fidencio Berrigan, Catherine Stilts, Marvin Daggs, and then Bodega Wilson. Thank you guys for all joining the Foogle fam. All right, let's get into Avam's space launch plane is an A5 Vigilante size. Its claims are even bigger. It says the rollout of a mock-up of the Raven X autonomous launch vehicle concept was intriguing, but it also raised a lot of questions. So first off, this thing is just absolutely insane looking. It looks like a giant bird, and look at the aerodynamics on this thing. I don't know if that is a missile. Dex, do you know if that's part of the technology, or do you know if that's that is nuts looking. That's terrifying. It says the little-known U.S. startup Avam held an online rollout event yesterday for its Raven X autonomous launch vehicle. It says including footage of a full-size mock-up of the aircraft. Established in 2016, the Huntsville, Alabama-based firm is proposing a reusable drone that will carry the underslung rocket that will in turn launch a small payload, such as a satellite, into low orbit. So they will actually use something like this to launch satellites. And I'm sure that they could put anything on that payload. It says the twin Raven X drone, described by the company as the first stage of the system, reportedly weighs 55,000 pounds, is 80 feet long, and has a wingspan of 60 feet, which is actually, that's kind of odd that it's actually longer than it. I guess, no, that works. It says roughly the size of an A5 Vigilante. The sleek drone, strongly reminiscent of the smaller Boeing Loyal Wingman in basic appearance, has seemingly been tailored for speed and will serve as the, quote, mothership for a two-stage rocket ship that is able to carry a payload of just over 1,000 pounds. As such, Avum classifies the complete Raven X system as a three-stage space launch vehicle. So, I believe that, so this is an unmanned vehicle the size of a Vigilante, which is pretty insane. What else are they going to use it for? Who knows? I guess we will see. And then we have great adventure. If you don't die, Elon Musk says that humans most likely will land on Mars in 6 years. We'll break that apart. If you realize what that means, that's by 2024 they'll most likely be taking off, or before. So this is exactly what is lining up with everything we've been talking about. One thing I wonder is if at 2024 is if they didn't let us know anything was going on, then all of a sudden it was like left behind and everybody was on their way to Mars. Just a hypothetical thought. Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk announced that in January that he was planning to build a city of 1 million people on Mars by 2050, with the trips to the red planet being regular and, quote, available for those who don't have money through loans, because apparently there you're going to have so much opportunity. It says it is most likely that the first humans will land on Mars in 6 years, as Earthlings were expected to create a, quote, real civilization on the solar system's second smallest planet. It says extravagant entrepreneur and space dreamer Elon Musk said in an interview with Axel Springer's CEO Matthias Tofni. So think about this. This is absolutely insane to think that if they are really doing this, and again, there's lots of people. First off, anytime I talk about anything like this, I get anybody from the straight planet group, as far as you guys get what I mean, on a plane. I get those guys. And one thing I don't understand about the community is how rude they are. I have mods in my group, mods that are my best friends and family friends, and these people are just the most amazing people ever. They believe in that theory, and they have never come across rude or anything when talking to people about it. They also don't push it on everybody. And one thing I don't get about the community is they go to any space-related video and they negatively comment and call everybody names. I don't understand it. You're dedicating all of your time, instead of researching what your theory is, to going to people that don't believe you and trying to convince them too. I kind of get it, because if you do believe that and you truly in your heart believe that the planet is different, that space doesn't exist, I would understand that you would want to push it out to people that you're not crazy, because it wouldn't be a nice feeling having most people think you're nuts, right? And that's exactly why I created my channel. That's why it's okay for you to believe that here. But why would it not be acceptable to cover all of the other stuff when your very community watches every single space-related video I've ever seen? It's logically, it doesn't make too much sense. Go to any space-related video, so the people themselves want to watch and learn about space, or at least go there and watch the entire video to critique it, but regular people shouldn't see that. That's what I don't understand. Just hypothetically, if you do believe that, why would you not want other people to see it and call people shills for covering it when you're watching it yourself? Not only are you watching it, you're watching every piece of content ever related. So think about the logic there before you leave another nasty comment. It doesn't make sense. You're watching space-related content and saying people that cover space are shills. That's a really narrow way to look at the planet. One thing I always say is I have not been to space, and neither have you. So I'm not going to say the world is an egg. I'm not going to say it's a piece of paper, because I've never been to space. and you can give me argument after argument. Both sides have their arguments, but it doesn't change my mind. I've never been to space. And when I do go to space, or when you go to space, send me a picture or send me a live video, and then we can talk. Because neither one of us is going to believe the videos we're getting from NASA. So that was my rant. Again, we're going to be covering space for the next few months. So we'll be shelling it up, as they say. It says, according to SpaceX CEO, who recently said that his space transportation company had, quote, a fighting chance of sending unscrewed Starship rocket to Mars in 4 years, that the red planet was not a, quote, plan B for him, but rather a part of his vision for humanity as a multi-planet species for spacefaring civilization. So wait a second. Why did he say this? Now, Dex, I'm going to pull you in for a second. There's a part here, and I want to just... Maybe I'm reading it wrong. It says that he, in this conversation, says he wanted to give the transportation company had a fighting chance of sending uncrewed Starship rocket to Mars in 4 years. It says the red planet was not a plan B for him, but rather a part of his vision for humanity as a multi-planet species and a spacefaring civilization. So why did he add the plan B? So what would be a plan B in reference to? Is that saying this is not, because we have to get off Earth, but it's more we want multiple planets? Why did he feel like he had to say that? I guess I need more context. Dex, did you...
Yeah, I caught that too, and I definitely think that the reference is exactly what you're saying. You know, he's making that reference as if there wasn't a need for that, and he needed to call that out directly.
Did anybody ask?
Out directly is a big deal. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah,
why would you? Is this a plan B? What do you mean? Is that a Freudian, or I guess not a Freudian slip, but is that an accidental slip up? Like he's thinking about it in his head, so he goes, "It's not." Like everybody's saying, "Hey, this is because something's going to happen to Earth." I have shown you at least enough to put, I guess, a seed in your head to start researching into this stuff. Look at what Starlink is actually doing. I called it 3 years ago when he was doing interviews about meteor defense, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared, and he never talked about meteor defense again. Then he was talking about this, and then Space Force just popped out of nowhere. And he stopped talking about the meteor defense. And then just a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago, he says that Starlink actual sensors will be used to detect incoming objects. Now, in the context that they used it, they said it would be used for hypersonic missiles. So you're talking about the Starlink that everybody has talked about, these train or convoys of satellites, are supposed to turn into a grid all around our planet. So you'll actually see a grid in space. It will be like watching our stars, only it will be exactly symmetrical, and it will be this grid that rotates around. Is that a protection service? Is it really for internet? Well, it could be. It could be a double, I guess, use of it. But then they actually told us that, yes, it will be used to detect objects coming in. Think about it. If an object or a meteor comes in, if they have this thing all around the planet, if an object comes in from somewhere where there's no telescope pointed, then they wouldn't know about it. But if they have this grid of things pointing out all directions, maybe they can sense the things coming at us. Just a thought. And again, it's hypothetical, but we do know it's for incoming objects. But they said incoming objects. We're talking about hypersonics, which... I'm assuming hypersonics would be coming from a country, and now the new hypersonics that they talk about, especially Russia, they talk about it going in our atmosphere low, so it wouldn't be, basically it's unstoppable, because it wouldn't go up to the atmosphere and give us a chance to meet it. It would just go around the world super low. In some cases, they say, just as low as power lines. In one demonstration, they talked about as high as your power line, so 20 feet, 30 feet up, this thing going right by, and in its computer, able to go over every little obstacle in its way and hit a target 4,000 miles away. Incredible stuff. Catherine Willie says, Christ be with you all. Truly do love you all. Catherine Willie, Thank you, and thank you for your generous support of our show, and thank you for supporting independent. It says, Merry Christmas, Adam. Thank you very much for being you. Well, Catherine Willie, thank you for being you. Thank you for always being around and always sharing our stuff and always fighting for us. So thank you. That is really appreciated. Backwoods Ingenuity says, YouTube, let's see here. YT reported a problem with the like button. Press yours to make sure it still works. Live free, travel light, work hard. Much love to the Foogle fan. So I actually heard that it's good luck for up to 1 day if you press that like button. But I don't know if that's true. That could be a conspiracy. Marvin Boggs, stay smart, stay frosty, keep promoting new good uploaders. Thank you, Marvin, for being the last one out. And then Keith and Queen Brat says, hey, Adam, a very special shout out to Dex and the mods who work very hard behind the scenes to make this show as spectacular as it is. Much love to you and all. Keep prepping and praying. I agree with you, Keith and Queen, and I'm assuming that's Keith. Thank you. And then Kara Fuse, been missing you. Hurricane kept me away a while, but I'm back. Kara Fuse, if you catch that stuff on video, please let me know and to get video of it. If you have anything that's right outside your door, get video of it and send it to marfooglenews.com/playmyvideo. Again, to remind you, if you just add /playmyvideo, there is a place for you to submit your home videos. So if you took a video of something in the sky or a meteor coming in or a bright flash or a convoy that's coming through that is out of place, if it's, parking at a kindergarten or at a Walmart, send it to us and you can actually submit that at marfooglenews.com/playmyvideo. With that out of the way, we're going to get into the first caller here in a second. But also, I want to let you guys know, if you want to support us and be incredibly smart and protect yourself, I would highly recommend looking into an EMP shield. Not only does it protect against all 3 phases of an EMP, this is the same company that has been not only used by DHS, DOD, but is now on the DEMSO team officially helping protect the Texas grid. These are Keystone military tested. This is a veteran company, veteran owned, and 100% made in America. Not only that, they are adding badass jobs all over the country because of their new contracts with the government. So again, we did not know if they were going to continue selling to consumers, but they ended up doing that. And apparently the owner is extremely adamant about every single person in the United States and all over the world having these in their house. If they did, we wouldn't have a grid out problem. We wouldn't have blackouts like what happened in Venezuela. Again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. That's again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use that link. And again, the code I believe is Marfoogle. You will get $50 off per device. So does add up a lot. And that is in combination with any sale they're currently running. Okay. Dex, I'm going to pop open the chat, and then I'm also going to be pulling in the callers. It looks like we have a great new first-time caller. Things that are hiding in plain sight, Artie Snow. Artie Snow, you can come in. Calling from New York. And then while he's doing that...
Hello.
Perfect. Artie Snow, you're live on Marfoogle News.
Hold on, let me take you off a speaker.
Okay, thank you, Artie.
Could you hear me?
Yes, and we're all listening very clearly.
Hold on, got you off speaker. Yes, it's Artie Snow.
Well, nice to meet you tonight.
Did you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you fine. So,
yes,
what's hiding in plain sight?
First time caller, long time fan. Been listening to your show forever.
Well, thank you.
I can't hear you. Okay. I'm from New York City, and the city is going through changes that most people do not even realize what's going on here. One of the things that they started with was New York City used to be open 24/7. The subway system never closed. Now the subway system closes from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning. There is no transportation whatsoever. Are you hearing me?
There's never a problem with hearing you, Artie. Just continue.
Okay, well, I'm all over the city, and I love this city because the city that never sleeps, but now it's sleeping. And I've noticed a lot of things that are going on here. Like, I take the subway every day, and there's these, I don't know what you call them, but there's like these machines on the not on the platform, but on the upper platform before you go to the subway. And I don't know if they're inhaling or exhaling. And you hear the machines going, and it's like a metal box is handcuffed to the railing, and then that's just in the subway. You see them all over the place. And above ground, you see these, it's just strange. You see these things that are not even supposed to be there. And people walk by them like nothing. The city is changing so drastically that I'm a little aware of what's going on, thanks to your show. But it just boggles my mind how everybody just seems to go about their business like if nothing is happening. And this city slowly is going on a lockdown. First is the subway. Next thing you know, they're going to start partitioning things all over the city. It just dumbfounds me on what's going on here, and nobody seems to realize what's going on in this. I love New York,
Now, Artie,
but
Artie, quick question
yes.
too. So, like many know, it was worldwide news because New York is one of the biggest tourist attractions of the United States ever. I mean, more people go visit New York than almost anywhere in the country. As far as this was historic in your entire life, have you lived in New York for a long time? Are you born and raised?
Yes.
So it's never closed down.
I've been around the country, but New York is my home.
Now, but the subway has never closed down in history. In 115 years.
Never. Since I've been a little kid, the subway was 24/7 all the time. Yes, you had to wait half an hour for the next train at night, but there always was a train coming. If you're stuck in the city and it's after midnight, you're stuck. You might find a cab, but you're stuck wherever you're going. Maybe the police will help you, maybe not. But and then when you go to Times Square, it's like a ghost town. It's not like it used to be with all the tourists all over the place. No, something is happening here that I can't explain.
Not only that, just to let people know too, the rent has dropped. It's plummeted in some of those crazy neighborhoods that were $4,000 for a studio apartment. They're now back to like actual regular rates, which is a great thing if you're looking for a place, but you're not even living in the same city anymore as it is right now. New York is different.
Yes. What you're saying is yes and no, because there's so much construction going on here. And, I was thinking the other day, why are all these buildings being built? Where are the people going to come to move into these high rises? I live in a nice neighborhood where the rent is sky high. And where are people coming? And then, I do a lot of research. And then, you know what? It hit me that they're going to move everybody to these big cities to control them. Because there's so much high rises going up that it's unreal. It's the rental market. It's already bad. There's empty apartments all over the place, but they still keep building and building and building. And it's not just 10 stories. It's 20 stories, 30 stories. Some buildings are a block long. So I'm kind of smart and savvy and everything, but. Anyway, it hit me that, all these people that are in all the rural places, they're going to move them into these big cities where they can control them more. It started with the subway, and next thing you know, it's going to be more and more control.
And it will be vertical. That New York would be a perfect place to have one of those mega cities because it's, technically you've got, it can be turned into a prison, basically. If you think about it,
absolutely,
it's a big island.
You're thinking like I'm thinking.
you could build up vertically. It already has all of that. I bet you the commercial space would slowly turn into residential, and you would see less businesses and offices and more homes and more vertical space where they're going up 100 stories, all residential, and it will start to look like areas of China, where areas of China are just, people are stacked in per square inch. It's just insane. I mean, you've got, 100,000 people in one building. And that's not even an exaggeration in some places, I don't think. Like, it's, the space that you get is tiny.
Let me just say this. I know you're pressed for time, but like, you can't go in a restaurant to eat and sit down. But the restaurants are building these little houses outside the restaurant, which is a house itself, which is closed in. So it's defeating the purpose. You either can go inside or you're going to go outside, and it's got walls and lighting. It's on the sidewalk. So are we, what is the benefit of that?
Yeah, they're building an inside structure, but somehow that gets, it doesn't make any sense. If this was I get what you're saying, and I can't even say what I want to say, but I get exactly what you're saying.
So
I get it.
I'm careful with my words.
Thank you, Artie.
I know your show. I love your show. You guys are great. This is my first time calling. It won't be my last. Thank you, and I'm going to continue listening to your show tonight.
All right.
God bless you.
Well, God bless you, Artie, and I'm so glad to have you in the Foogle fam. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you.
I've been there for a long time.
Hey, Artie, it's your first time call. I really mean this. Don't make it your last, okay? Let us know what is going on in New York. Give us a call back, okay?
Yes, you know what? I should have taken pictures of these contraptions in the subway and in the city. Next time I will take pictures and I will send it to you so you can see these things are, I don't know what they are. It's a metal box with a hose coming out and it's got like something that's either breathing air or pushing air out, because you hear a noise coming out of it. And then you see above ground, like on Penn Station, Times Square, you see these other things that are not even supposed to be there. And people walk by like if it's nothing.
No, I understand. And I also just saw this, and I did not know this. They rolled out PPE or personal protection equipment vending machines in the subway. I didn't know that. So you should check that out, too.
There's so much stuff. And it's going to be put here first in this city, in the big city. It's going to be done here first. Slowly, they're conditioning people into a certain way of life.
Oh, my God.
And it's sad to say, but we're never going to go back to that life 2019, 2018. That's never coming back. I've already realized that. I tell my sisters all the time. But anyway, God bless you, and I will continue listening to your show, and I will call again with other information.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You guys, I was zooming in on that. I don't know if you saw that, but absolutely insane as well. This vending machine, which I know prices are high in New York, but the price for one mask, and it says one CT, $11.99 for a fabric mask, and then the sanitizer, a little bottle like this, it said $9.99. That's US dollars. That's $10 for a tiny bottle of sanitizer, and it's in this Vango machine. It's like some of these inventions and the things that are now getting rolled out. Did some of you think it was kind of weird that a lot of this came out incredibly quick? The vending machines. I mean, like within 2 weeks of the initial lockdown, the very first one back in April, they had a ton of stuff. And yes, there's going to be people that are taking advantage of the situation. There's going to be inventors. There's going to be tons of people. But like, Pizza Hut or something, one of the pizza joints had a contactless like slide through machine that they put at certain locations. You had all sorts of things. But also, what does this push? So non-contact, as I've told you, they're rolling out these drones, and these drones for delivery are going to replace every single Uber Eats, every single Uber job you have out there. And I mean Uber too. They're going to have unmanned, unpiloted drone taxis that will take you from point A to point B, which is awesome, right? But think about the entire career that just deleted. Taxis are gone. Uber is gone. Uber is a short-lived thing. I believe it is not a fad, but it's not going to be around in a few years. It will be completely unnecessary. There might be some old school ones for maybe, a higher price. But we're talking about the stuff that they've already done. And I can prove that because look at what they're doing with the FAA. Look at the ground clearance and the clearance that they're doing. Look at the stuff that they're already exercising and demonstrating with delivery. You're going to get everything from a drone. You're not going to have any kind of interaction. And you know what no human interaction does to a society and a community? Anybody take a guess? It prevents grouping and it prevents pushback. When you control the only other interaction they have, which is the internet, and we're slowly seeing those get knocked off and then connected. And if you are any kind of hair sticking out to the side, they just snip it. It's gone. If you're a person sticking out the side, snip it, you're gone. But not only gone from here, you're gone from everywhere. You're gone from every platform you ever were on. In fact, you can't even use email anymore. You can't even communicate with your family. I have friends right now, behind the scenes, they are going through the weirdest companies to do simple stuff that used to be simple because it went down to their IP. So they had to change internet or change a home and not put their name on stuff to actually get services. So think about this. In 2-3 years from now, when drones are doing everything instead of people, and it's going to be going to be necessary. It's going to be convenience, but it's also going to be for protection. You're going to be protected, okay? This is all good for you, okay? It's all going to be good. This is for the better, guys. We need drones doing this stuff. We don't want people, driving us places and making a living wage. That's a really bad idea. What that actually creates is a society with jobs and work and employment. That can't happen. You guys know. It's horrible. Speaking of horrible, let's take a moment of silence and remember the soldiers, which, by the way, salute to anyone here who is a former veteran. And it doesn't have to be Veterans Day to say thank you to any vet you know. Again, doesn't matter what cause or which conflict they were involved in. Their hearts were in the right place when they went, most of them. And again, a lot of those people saw more things than we will never see. And they see things in a different light because of the things they have seen. So salute to you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of the Foogle fam's heart. Thank you for your service. But also thank the people, the men and the women that perished in Pearl Harbor, which I believe was something that a lot of people unsuspectedly got hit in the side of the head, and it was most likely incredibly planned. It says Pearl Harbor ceremony to honor those taken in 1941 attack. It says officials were scheduled to gather in Pearl Harbor on Monday to remember those taken in the 1941 Japanese surprise attack. It says, though public health measures adopted because of CV mean no survivors will be present. So, it says the military will broadcast video of the ceremony live online for survivors and members of the public to watch from afar. It says, I quote, I think it's too bad, but it's for safety reasons, said Warren Upton, a 101-year-old who served on the USS Utah, says he plans to watch the event from his home in San Jose, California. He's not going to get another chance to go, and I'm sure that this is something that made his year. You know, a celebration like this of what he did. He survived that horrific day. I'm sure he's got a ton of stories. He's 101 years old. I hate to say it, but might not make 102, and they took that away over that. They could have actually, for all the stuff that they have continued and kept open, you would think that they would find a way, put up bubbles or put up plexiglass or something to let these gentlemen do their tradition and to do this event. That's just my thoughts. If you have an opinion, I'd love to know it. All right, and then also, awesome people over on DLive. Thank you so much. Life is Better on Stilts says, I appreciate you. Somebody said, and I'm pretty sure it's a joke, but even if it's not, it's okay. And I do get sarcasm. So somebody said, Me Man 1984 says, space is fake. Considering my speech, I think that's, and you could be actually meaning it, but in a way like you're joking. Anti-Cosmic Order of the Just says Meme Man. Again, Earth Absorber. Thank you for the support, by the way, Meme Man 84. Earth Observer says Kilt. Graceful Patriot, thank you and welcome to the Foogle fam. And then we've got Unicorn Forest, Mrs. Jackson, Sam Quiggs, Renegade PD, Jacktronics, Barbara Bro is in the house, Maui Racing Realtor, thank you so much. Another Marfia badge member. Lisa K23, thank you for gifting out subs to users in the channel. And then we've got Claire Bear, aka CFS69, says, finally caught alive, yay. Pray up and prep up, fam. And then Lisa K, thank you so much. Thank you, Marf and Dex, for all your hard work. Thank you. Let's see. Groovy Grandma's in the house. Hey, it's nice to see you again. And then G. Thomas says, stop the world. I want to get off. Well, G. Thomas, if you don't put your seatbelt back on, I will turn this world right around. Moving on. What about a nuclear Pearl Harbor in our future? Now, it is my opinion that the next big event will be completely hit us without warning. And of course, I should take that back. I think we've had our warning, and I think we've had plenty of warning, and I think that DHS has warned us, and I think everybody else has warned us, but yet people won't listen. People are going to have cognitive dissonance. They don't want something negative to happen. They don't want it, and I understand that. And I applaud that most of us have that positivity and they're trying to push it back. And I don't think it's a fear-mongering thing to say, hey, let's prep for the unusual and the unexpected. I guess it's how you choose to live your one life. I know a lot of people that say, well, if something happens, then I'm totally secure with it happening. I'm good with God, so if I go right now, that's fine. But there is something to be said if you have children. For me, I want to make sure my kids live an awesome and full life, or at least somewhat of a life, and not go before they even really get to know. In my opinion, I think they need more time to even get to know God or to learn, right? So, in my opinion, I'm not afraid of once you stop being afraid of death, all of these subjects aren't scary. They're not fear-mongering. I know that some people get really stressed out when they're talking about apocalyptic things. And then some people are addicted to it. That's why they call it fear porn, is because it's, obviously porn is something that, people are addicted to. Fear porn is like, they're addicted to, I guess, the feeling, right? I want to make sure that we are trying to be as helpful as possible at the same time. That's why Dex and I spend so much time prepping. Dex putting all of the links there for you guys to actually get to. That's something that is incredibly important for us. So I just want you to know, for this and others, I do believe, and it is my belief, that we are going to be hit on the side of the head unexpectedly. We're going to get sucker punched. And that is something that all of my colleagues behind the scenes, some of them won't even say it on their shows because they don't want to stress people out. But they all have heard the exact same thing. It's going to come out of nowhere. It's going to be unexpected. And it's going to be way bigger than anybody ever thought. Will it be nuclear? I don't know. Says December 7th marks the 78th anniversary of Imperial Japan's 1941 surprise on the U.S. Pacific Fleet in Pearl Harbor. And it says, beginning America's desperate struggle to survive and win WW2. It says a nuclear Pearl Harbor may begin and end WW3. It says, like the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor in 1941, most U.S. nuclear forces today are sitting ducks. Boomers are not non-nuclear or not nuclear armed or maintained on strip alert, and most missile submarines or SSBNs typically are in port. It says a surprise attack on just 3 boomer bases, and I'm saying that on purpose, and 2 submarine ports could destroy about 2/3 of the U.S. nuclear deterrent. Now, within capability of NK. So you've got little Kim over there in NK. It says hypersonic warheads being deployed by Russia and China because of their great speed, accuracy, and ability to evade radar could surprise and destroy America's intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. Always on high alert are the chief deterrents against surprise attacks. So, again, the thought there is that if it does happen so quickly that we don't see it, that is why Elon Musk and others are, putting up these grids to detect hypersonic missiles, because right now there might be an overlay where we don't have that system fully operational, or we don't have whatever next gen tech that we haven't implemented. And the growth or the development by probably some of our stolen technology or our stolen scientists, and they develop something that hits us quick. And say if China or Russia have a 2-month window to do it and actually win. Just remember why China or Russia don't invade. It's called MAD, mutually assured destruction. Do they love us? Do they deal with us? Because of MAD, basically everybody step back and go, okay, we'll do some deals with you then. Since there's nothing we can do, and if you blow me up, I'll blow you up. Basically, at any point with the old nuclear system, without hypersonics, and with the defense systems that we probably had, there was no escalation to war, because if they bombed the hell out of you, you sent all your bombs, everybody is gone. It's a suicide for everybody. But now when you take that MAD out of the picture, do you think that Russia or China don't want to be number one and take over the world? Considering our president changes every 4 years, China's is going to stay the same until that dude dies. And most likely with Russia as well. Those are 2 dudes. Dudes can have bad days. Dudes can just not like you. Dudes could not like somebody every 4 years that they have to deal with. Dudes could take something wrong. Or maybe the next president looks at them funny. They're in complete power. Those 2 guys, just 2 guys, are in complete power. They could be the next Adolf. They could be anything, right? Will they be? Are they? No, we don't know. All I'm saying, though, is, ours goes every 4 to 8 years, changes out, and there's all different systems, and people get fired and hired and everything else. Over there, it's a little bit different. So if you think that they don't want to take over the world, then you should probably look at the Heavenly Order of China and look at how Russia actually talks to their own citizens. They want the motherland to be number one. So does China. So, just saying. Zippy Moon says, Godspeed, Chuck Yeager. Rest in peace. Artie is definitely hip to the square. Much love to you, Marf, Dex, and Mods. Zippy Moods, thank you for giving him a compliment there. I love when people push up the collars instead of tear them down. EpiPen did not kill himself, and there is no way in hell Mr. Den had 80 million votes. It says, Nana Deborah, thank you so much. Again, Baldylocks Awake and Jen, thank you guys for joining me again tonight, and thank you guys for always rolling in. You're the coolest, second coolest couple on the block in the Foogle fam. BOD and Shannon, they take number one, unfortunately. Spin Effect has followed. Thank you so much. This is my screen name, is actually BOD and Shan. In fact, it looks like this is my screen name is here tonight. It says, we love you, Marf and Dex. Thank you guys. And say hello to BOD. And then Fed Up in Indiana, thank you so much for your support. It looks like a super sticker. And then Texicali 74 says, I think we need to be alert with this CME coming. Earthquakes, appreciate you thanking us vets. God bless. Texicali, you're very welcome and thank you so much for your service. EOD vet, another vet, says NYC subway boxes are most likely air sampling monitors. Sampling for what? Who knows? But that's what it sounds like. So EOD vet is saying what the caller just previously said, that these machines that are breathing are air sample machines. That would be telling me that they are there to possibly prevent a T attack against New York subway system. We already have seen, and I've covered, multiple major events are now installing radiological testing machines where they can actually detect if somebody brought nuclear fission or nuclear materials into a public event like Daytona 500, where 500,000 people can show up all at one day. They actually started that last year or maybe even the year before in 2018. So more machines doing that, I actually would not doubt it. And that is EOD vet, that's very believable to me. David Blackwell says, blessings to you, Adam, Dex, and the entire, all caps, shouting, Foogle family. Jesus is the answer. Thank you, David Blackwell. And thank you again. Truth in Music, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., quote, 3 months after the CV, your brain will be gone, etc. Peep it out. Love the Foogle fam. I will have to check that out. Truth in Music, great thing. That's why I love when you guys teach me. As far as this goes, the Department of Defense is working on a new space-based sensor. This is exactly what I was talking about. And Dex, you can pop in on this. I mean, did we not call this 2 years ago? And now, a couple months ago, it was kind of vindication for what our sources said. And now it's actually there.
Hey, Adam, I'm here. Yeah, it's the space sensor. We've definitely been talking about that.
Do we have our next caller? I'm gonna actually pull on the second
Adam,
call.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can all hear.
Okay,
you.
Cool. Yeah, we do.
No, I think there was a delay there, so sorry about that. Unidentified illness hospitalizes, and then lineup. It looks like on deck. Who do we have here? We have Cosmo. Remember, you can call at 224400 That number is going to be scrolling on this little black line here. And then also, if you do not know what Marf is or you don't have the letters on your phone, 2244006273. We need like a song down there with the little bouncing ball. Totally separate and not related. I just think it would be cool to have a little bouncing ball. Well, that got awkward. Turn the camera off. Now they can't see me. Oh, the mic. All right, it looks like we have Cosmo up next. Again, Kara Fuse, thank you so much for your support tonight. And Johnny Dundalis says, God bless Marfoogle forever. And again, Marfoogle is more than just us. That's the family. Pascali Simmons, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate each and every subscriber. But again, if you do subscribe during the live show, you do get a shout out. And seriously, thank you. Each subscriber is a human being, and you are giving your time to us, so it is much appreciated. And of course, all of the Foogle family will actually welcome you. That's again Pascale Simmons. Welcome to them to the Foogle fam. Okay, Cosmo is going to talk about a discount spaceship parts, and I'm going to actually pull up a link. What's going on with this, Cosmo?
Hello. So you got old OLED lead Scalman up there with the coral capsule and the Wikipedia page.
I am pulling it up right now. Which, by the way, just
All right.
before we go on, because we're on Wikipedia, I don't know if the begging message will be there, but I looked up something on a cell phone. Yes, it is. This begging message has gotten bigger and bigger over the last year. And on the cell phone, it was an entire... I had to scroll 2 pages before I got to the Wikipedia. And it was basically like... I mean, they are just like straight up begging people at this point.
Well, yeah. Could you please donate your money for further disinformation?
Well, and that's the thing that can be changed and fiddled around. I think they may be a little bit greedy because I know they are making a huge chunk of money. I don't know. I just think...
yeah, they help colleges pay their bills. So, I mean, it's all got to be connected somehow, right?
Yeah, there's something there. If you look at the structure of the new Wikipedia, kind of the people that run it, I don't know. But again...
Yeah, it's definitely changing.
So what is this? This is... What are we looking at right here? It says Coral Castle. Is that right?
Well, I gotta admit something first. You got me a little excited talking about space sensors, and then you switched over to the phone call instead of sharing that story. So, me calling about discount spaceship parts was like, oh, confound it. I wanna give me a couple of those. Okay, tell me more about these sensors. I'm really curious, but I'll wait for that later. But discount spaceship parts is a common tag that I generally have been throwing up in the chat as I exist watching the show go from old over on DLive. But shout out to my Michigan people. Regardless, all the fireballs falling. I know you talk often about how you've had the dreams attached to the fireballs. I've had about at least 20 of them over a decade's worth of time. And they all seem to be like one continual story and just like glimpses of various points along that time. It's a really weird experience. It's really exciting to be alive during the times, and having my own alternative levels of perspective, mainly because I choose to research things that I have always been told to go do when I'm curious with a question. And, if you've ever researched one good question, you end up with at least 3 more, depending on how good that question really was and how thorough your research was. And, you kind of end up in some places. Anyway, good old Ed that created the Coral Castle was an old guy. And it's really common knowledge. You can read it right there on the Wikipedia, how old he was, where he comes from, and this rumor surrounding the idea that this single individual at the elderly stage of his life was capable of, during our modern era, after the Industrial Revolution, was able to create a coral castle stone structure out of multi-ton coral stone blocks that he had cut, hewn, and moved using copper era tools by himself. And then over a change of his property, I don't remember the politics involved, but he had to move this coral castle 100 miles and was able to do so using one flatbed truck, moved it 100 miles in a single night. It's ridiculous. Absolutely. However, there's a little more to this guy's story. I'm not sure if it's on the Wikipedia page. He actually left behind a book called Electromagnetism. And it's an odd book because it's not about electromagnetism at all. It seems to be more like tuning instructions and how to construct a homemade radio tuning frequency box. Is really how he describes it. It's very rudimentary. It's very simple. It's very basic, but it's very perplexing because it's so simple. And this comes from the 40s and the 50s, which is around the exact same time that we heard about a lot of, if we do our other forms of research in history, that a lot of the other various covert programs and operations started going, the fun stuff to really look into when you got nothing else going on. But all aside from that, I don't know. I see them fireballs falling down. I kind of can't help but wonder how many of these brand new sensors you guys are about to tell us a story about might not be attached to some of those flaming wreckages, or it's the boy dreaming over here looking for discount spaceship parts. Because, wouldn't you know it, a real embodied spirit by the name of Noel done gifted me a running vehicle with a house on top of it. And so I've spent the last 3 weeks busting my back remodeling this thing and fixing it. And yeah, it's
so
it has a space.
Do you now have
go ahead.
Did you not have a place to live before that, or is this something that was just kind of given to you as a project, or is that now kind of a miracle for you?
The term of where I've been at is had been about to expire, and it was really just kind of nail biting there at the second. You know, gotta look for a new place to live right before the winter. That's always a really interesting game to play. Especially when you're living in the cold of Michigan. Ooh, you ready? Ooh, and yeah, just with the circus going on, you know, made it super interesting, and that's where the real heart of faith comes out, you know. And like I've been at such a quarreled state in my own sense of self that like it literally took a physical embodiment of the spirit named Noel to, in the winter months, gift me not only a place but a ship and go get your journey, little starseed. Go do your thing. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't know. I am still just a learning naive boy trying to find his way through the I-core of this. You know, you always learning, never a master, forever a student. And
well, Cosmo, it sounds like it was meant to happen, and that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Working transportation and a roof over your head, that's amazing. I'm really happy for you.
Me too, man. Me too. And that seriously has been why I've like literally been looking around at the few people I got around me left. Like, yo, I need some discount spaceship parts. You got a guy? You got the hookup?
No, but
no,
Cosmo,
you're all good.
Cosmo, you can find coupons in the back of the newspaper, though. That's at least what the tall blonde Norwegian gentleman told me.
You mean those ink papers that I find stuffed behind the drywall?
Yes, they used to have them long time ago. They used to be in stands in the stores. They were called newspaper.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Decayed tree flesh. I forgot. Silly of me.
All right, Cosmo, we got to move on, but thank you for calling in. And hey, seriously, that is a blessing and a half, and I'm so happy you got a place.
Amen.
I'd much rather hear that than hear that you lost your place, and that's incredible.
That's the truth that I know is actually happening for a lot of people. That was a lot of the reason why I wanted to call in and share that. It's like the true heart of gratitude that I have to wake up every morning and be reminded with, like, this whole pathway forward would not exist if that truth wasn't there. And like, to anybody that's looking for that truth, like, as my teacher told me, interpret your love so you can find in your surroundings where to pull it through. And like that, yeah.
Well, Cosmo, thank you so much for your call tonight, and I hope you have a rest of your winter is blessed, and I hope that everything goes well with that. And thank you so much for calling in tonight, okay, Cosmo?
Thank you very much, brother. Be blessed as well.
All right. Have a good one.
Love your food, fam. Bye.
We all love you too, Cosmo. Cosmo is that's really nice to hear. Isn't it? Isn't it great to hear when, I mean, you know, I guess it means something to me too. As like, I came from growing up with my mom, and she was homeless a lot, and we ended up living in some horrible places. So I can totally understand the feeling of, so say if you're living in some place and then that is about to expire, having another place to go into. It's pretty awesome. John Rogers, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. And I truly appreciate you being part of the Foogle fam. Make sure to welcome John Rogers over on YouTube. Carol Reed says, in what part of India were people hospitalized? Thank you. Again, I you must be in reference to somebody else then? Trying to think of what story I covered. Adhar. I've covered Adhar recently. Thank you, Marf, for keeping my friends and I safe. Marfoogle fam for life, says John T. McGill. John T., again, thank you. And it's so nice to see your name here for so long. It's most of the names that I see, it's incredible. I mean, you guys have been here for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Most people do not watch a YouTube channel for that long, let alone a person. Some sort of disagreement happens and then they tune out or they watch somebody else. So it does mean a lot when I see all of the old school folks here. Ilea was just at the last show. Ilea is one of my favorite people here. And then we've got all sorts of folks. We've got all of our mods. Make sure to thank our mods. If there's a mod in there, just remember they're following kind of the guidelines that we set up. Don't get mad at them if they have to mute you for 5 minutes or something. It's just they go. If you attack anybody else or if you talk crap about other people, even other creators, even if that other creator is talking about us, we don't talk badly about them in our chat. We keep it positive and uplifting, and that's more than like a cliche. It actually makes a safe place for people to come, and you are most likely stressed from all of your real life stuff, all of your work stuff, all of the pandemic stuff. So when you come here, I hope that you have a place where it's not a bunch of people complaining about other people or just negativity, Eeyores. That's why we try to keep it extremely positive. And that means, even not talking about just people that we don't need to waste our time on. Surround yourself with people that are pushing each other up. And I promise you will get farther and farther and farther each and every day that you do it. And we don't need to kick the cat. If somebody comes in as a troll, ask them how they're doing and genuinely try to not get triggered by them the first few times. Say, that's great you have that opinion. You're welcome here. Have a fun time. You're mad today. That's okay. We all get mad sometimes. It really does pay off in the end. Some of the people that have been here for 3 years, some of the names in the chat have been here for a long time, and they were trolls at one point. As far as the sensors go, so the sensors, first off, Starlink is part of what we think those sensors are. But on top of that, all of the secret payloads that have been going up, Russia's been launching payloads a lot. And some of these have names on the dockets that are U.S. stuff. So somehow the Russian space program, there's all sorts of weird connections here. And that's why a lot of people are like, we're not going to go to conflict with Russia. They're buddy-buddy. Money is the main thing here. They will hire a taxi up to space with them, or up to the dome or whatever, and Truman Show. They'll lift it up and go up there. Whatever we're on doesn't matter. The outcome still, I believe, will be the same. Something is going to happen. It's going to be big, and it's going to be life-changing. And also, I think what you'll find is it's going to change laws. It's going to change how we work, and it might even speed things up that weren't supposed to, or you would never possibly think would happen in just a couple of years. Something you would think, oh, this is a 20-year plan, gets sped up to a year. Look at the current event right now. Things are being sped up so fast that, it's like the Constitution is waving out the back of a truck, and it's basically going through in a fire, and it's just burning up. So just remember that. With the sensors, space sensors and all of this, just to remind you, this article, go in and read this because it actually has some really great examples. It says, as recounted by former Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Dayan in his autobiography, even though warned by the New York Times reported in September 12th, 1975, the United States intelligence community acknowledged that it failed to predict the 1973 Arab-Israel war, with several intelligence agencies even predicting it, said that there would be no conflict only hours before hostilities broke out. So that was one surprise. That's a complete conflict that broke out, no warning. Even though they knew about it, Washington's psychological surprise attack, that was the Arab-Israeli Yom Kippur conflict. There was After Pearl Harbor, Washington was surprised by NK's invasion of South Korea in 1950. That was no warning. North Vietnam's Tet Offensive, which again, that began the eventual U.S. defeat in the Vietnam conflict. Defeat, which is crazy. So many lives lost for what? The 2011, those boom side of our head. Russia's annexation of Crimea, which we don't talk about too much in in the West, in Australia, Europe, we don't talk about this kind of stuff. But Russia's annexation, they just went over and took over Crimea, and they took it back, right? And then China's annexation of South China Sea, they basically took it, and they are actually they're getting successful. They're taking that part. They built land, and now they're going to be claiming it. But not only that, now their target is set on Taiwan, and if they do Taiwan, then we get involved in something that very well could turn into WW3. It's going to hit us in the side of the head like a rock thrown by a blue-haired. If you guys want to support the show in a different way, though, I highly recommend a VPN, a virtual private network, is something that you guys should all have. Anybody who is any kind of smart on computers has a virtual private network, because it basically puts your IP somewhere else. It's very simple. If you do not have any kind of protection or a VPN, someone who doesn't like you online can find your IP address, which then finds your real address, which finds a lot more stuff. Then they can hack your computer, get your identity, steal your stuff, do all sorts of things. Again, you can help protect yourself. Get a NordVPN. It's a virtual private network. You could put yourself in China if you want. If you want to put yourself in Russia or Australia, you can put your IP wherever you want. Or you can just turn on auto mode. You turn it on, you turn it off, and it will safely put you somewhere else. You can use the special code Marfoogle to get upwards of 70% off on a 3-year plan. That's at marfooglenews.com/VPN. It also supports the show while getting you a gigantic savings. So if you would like to do that, or if you've already done that, I thank you and I appreciate the support. It's one of the best brands out there. It is actually usually sponsored by, the Casey Neistats, these big, million subscriber channels. So we're lucky to have them on our affiliate team. Okay. And then we're going to get the next caller in and then talk about the reports of Kamanil's death. And again, we're going to talk about this unidentified illness here in a second. And we're also going to be talking about the South China Sea. That's coming up all in just a few. All right, reports of Kamanil's death right after this. Dex, let's pull in our next caller. Again, the number is 224400-MARF or 2244-006273.
Adam.
Liz is up next, right?
Yeah, Liz is up next. And real quick, I did notice a jet. Did you see that earlier? Or
no, I did not.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay, I don't think that was a jet dance, but I tried. And that is absolutely incredible. Johnson, thank you. Veterans once took an oath to defend the Constitution. There was no expiration date on that. That is absolutely true. And then, of course, Earth Observer, thank you. Brandon Herschel, thank you. We've got Shutterbug Kate, thank you. And then, holy camole, Tower Bear, thank you. That is the highest compliment you can give. That is the highest donation you can give on DLive. Thank you so much for that, Tower Bear. Thank you for supporting Independent. Says, great show tonight, fam. The Lord gives you what you need, not what you want. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to pain. Pain leads to the dark side. Tower Bear, thank you, and more thank you. Appreciate it, and thank you for supporting us. All right, Dex, let's get Liz on.
That's the second jet. I didn't even notice that one. There was one before that we need to call out for Cat Zoom.
Oh my goodness.
And Cat Zoom said, keep up the great work. Love you guys. So Cat Zoom, that is, again, so awesome.
Cat Zoom, you know, Tower Bear's actually been on that list before, but Cat Zoom, I think you are now the 13th person, which could be lucky or unlucky in book, but I think you're only the 13th person in our history on DLive to do that. So thank you, and Cat Zoom, that's huge. For those people, actually, we need a pen because eventually we're making this. We're gonna make a board with all of those names on it. Dex, can you note that? Can you note Cat Zoom?
Yeah, I've added Cat Zoom with a few others that I have, which is Tosdare, EOD Vet, and Cries.
Thank you.
2797. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Now we're going to be talking about Liz and about China Sun Simulator nuclear fusion. And we've got an article to go over with this and a great call. So let's talk to Liz. Liz, you're live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Marf, how you doing?
I'm good. So I'm going to load this article. What are we looking at here?
Well, I was watching a different channel today, and I've been talking to my friends about sun simulators forever, and I remember talking to one person, and they're like, how in the world could they make a second sun? That's absolutely ridiculous. And I said, look, I've seen a patent for it from Germany and from China, and I was trying to explain that it's not like a real sun like our sun, but that they use like LEDs, but very powerful, or some sort of different technology. And I don't know if our sun is getting very dim, if there's things working out in our solar system to cause that. But I did see a article today talking about that. I can't believe China actually put it out there in the news that they are trying to release a sun simulator that is, I believe, nuclear fusion. So that's kind of scary all by itself. I hope it works well if that's what they're doing.
And they call it.
It sounds a little bit scary.
It says they call it. It looks like East. Is East the name of it? It says. Wow. So. Well, again, so is this something? So now, when we look at the pictures of it, it looks like it's in a building, right? Is this something that will eventually be launched? It looks like a big old blob of stuff. Well, yeah, it looks like a kitchen almost. It looks like a cheese factory. But let me ask you this: is this something that I wonder if they eventually want to launch this as a satellite, like they want to launch their artificial moon? And why are they doing an artificial sun and moon? It looks like they're planning, and look at the nuclear scientists that ended up. Oh, and by the way, I don't think we covered this tonight. A nuclear scientist was just killed. I don't think that was their country. That might have been ours or somebody else. But some weird stuff's going on. But,
I think that was Iran.
Yes,
wasn't it Iran?
Yes, I do believe it. I believe so. And then look at what they'd had happen just a few months ago, or even a month ago. They had, I want to say, 90 of their almost nearly 200 scientists all resign on the same day. Now that's working for the Chinese government, having 90 nuclear scientists resign in one day. That doesn't exactly work the same way it does here. It's not like they resign and go apply somewhere else. They're working for the government. And they just screwed the government over, and they're basically marked. So why would they do that unless something serious is going to happen? And why would China make this?
For me, it sounds a lot to me like they were getting ready to do something that the government wanted to do, and the scientists were like, no way, this is not ready to do whatever it is you want to do, and we're not going for it. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. I don't know, but for all of those scientists to resign, they must have all, thought whatever was going on wasn't very good. So
it sounds like It sounds like they didn't want blood on their hands. Like they morally said, I'll die before being a part of that. Because
for sure.
That could be what happens.
I was going to also give you a shout out to Giant Tyrant that you had on the other night that had a lot of the sun and moon and some objects coming in and out of the sun and stuff. I just love his channel. And one thing I also noticed about his videos that people can go back and look at, that I don't know if y'all were paying attention to because y'all were really focused on these objects that were coming in and out of the sun. But what I noticed when I was watching his videos was that the clouds were going behind the sun. That's what it looked like to me. And I thought, and some of his videos, it looks like the clouds are going behind the moon. Now, if we have a sun, if America already has a sun simulator or a moon simulator, and it's in our atmosphere, then it's not very far away. It's not. One time I tried to explain this to my physicist uncle, and he's like, "There's no way they can create a sun." And I'm like, "Yes, they could if it was in our atmosphere. If for some reason our sun was going dim." Say there is wormwood or another planet out there or a dark star there is the philosophy that, or the theory that we are in a binary system, that there are two suns, and that that another sun is coming into our atmosphere now that is very far away, and it's draining our sun. If it's draining our sun, then our sun isn't active like it should be. We're not getting enough power from the sun. And if you look all over, what's going on in the news, and NASA and even the UN just announced today, I think, that we're going to have the worst year ever, from one of the main guys from the UN saying we're going to be in a famine situation. Well, why would we have that if either one, we're not having enough rain, or two, we're not having enough sun? And so you sit there and wonder, why would they be making a second sun to start with, unless we're not getting enough power from our own? So it's quite interesting. It's a theory to think about, but quite interesting.
Well, what's even funnier is I've got a giant Tyrant video up, and that's because he is the next caller. So Dex,
awesome.
one thing that I was thinking, and because he is another YouTuber, and because you are obviously watching a lot of his videos, that we could have you both on. Dex,
how wonderful.
Can we actually allow Giant in at the same time? Is that technically possible?
Yes, Adam, I'm working on it now.
Okay, perfect. So Giant's going to come in, and you can actually talk to him about the video as well. And then we'll play this video and kind of have you both on here. This is the video that we're playing right now, by the way, Liz, is this kind of really crazy video of course, the plane articles coming out the back end.
Right.
But yeah, Giant has
some of the stuff we are
crazy
seeing are amazing.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, so Liz,
thank you. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I'm glad you like it. Adam, you got me started doing this. I mean, I've been taking videos for a while, and I've just started putting a YouTube page together maybe like 6 or 8 months ago.
So Giant,
you guys sent me a lot of followers. And
yeah, no problem. So Liz here is a fan, so you guys can chat for a second.
I was just curious, where is he from? Is he taking? I got the impression that maybe he was in Florida or by NASA somewhere, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I live about an hour south of Cape Canaveral, and I drive up there every time they have a launch. Yeah, I'm pretty
Wonderful.
close.
How cool.
I can see it from my house, but I like to get closer and get a better view of the launch.
Those
I'm actually
videos
trying to
are
upload
just
another
spectacular.
video. This video was from yesterday. There was a rocket launch, and there was at least 100 chemtrails spraying before, during, and after the launch. And it looks like you could see the structure in the clouds. There's something there that they're trying to block out. And the other video I'm trying to upload shows other objects passing underneath the sun, but I don't know if I'll have time to get that uploaded. I still have 7 minutes.
I truly believe we have got that second sun that's a binary system. I think that that's behind our sun. And I think that from what I've studied, it has several planets with it, and some of those planets have moons, and they're trying to block those out from us. And a couple of years, I live close to San Antonio, Texas, and I was going to regularly to go see my son in Houston, and I was frequently coming back when the sun was going down. And one day I saw something weird in the clouds, and so I set my phone on the dash, and I was like, I can't pay attention to it while I'm driving, so I'm just going to set it there. I go back and look at my video, and I'm watching, here's the sun getting ready to go down. It's huge. It's a big sun, and it's big and bright. And then all of a sudden these clouds show up out of nowhere. I'm like, literally 1 second there's no clouds, and the next second there is. And I'm like, I grew up with an engineer dad, and he taught me about how clouds accumulate and how they form. And you don't have clouds just appear like that. And so in the video, all of a sudden the sun's there, and it's getting ready to start going down. All of a sudden there's clouds there. Then I see this little tiny ball off to the side of the sun, and it disappears into the clouds. Then all of a sudden the sun gets real small. And I'm like, I've watched the sun my whole life since I was in my 20s, which I'm in my 50s now. And I've never seen it do that. I've seen the sun go down nice and huge with nice rim around it. And I'm like, so then I started researching this. And I start reading that there is some sort of remote satellite that they're using for the sun simulator. And that remote satellite goes over to the sun. When it gets close to it, then all of a sudden the light goes down. And that's what makes it look smaller. And this stuff boggles my mind. I think, how can they create this? But I have watched.
They have PDF documents on I think the website was geoengineering.org. There's PDF documents that show all about how they make them and the sun simulators. They have a couple other things. They spray microscopic or tiny glass particles in the desert to mix with the sand, so it turns the desert into a mirror. They're doing a lot of. And they show all of that. It's all a .gov website. It's like geoengineering.gov, I think.
I just praise Marv for being one of those guys that are getting out there and showing this to people. There are people out there that think I'm crazy, and then other people that are like, even I started going to a different church recently, and I'm telling the pastor's wife about some of this stuff that's going on, including the presidency and other stuff, which I won't talk about. But she's like, oh, I totally know what you're talking. And so there are people out there that are awake, and then there are those that aren't. But the other thing that I thought was interesting that I heard somebody say, and I realized it for myself, was the color of the sky. They said, do you remember basically what they said was, do you remember when you were young and you looked at the sky when it was blue? It was like a light blue. Look at the sky now. It's more of a purple blue. And so when I was coming home one day from Houston to San Antonio area, there was something that happened to the sky, and there was like a part of the sky that was like that same blue I remember when I was young. And then there was another part of the sky that was more purple. And I sat there, I'm driving, and I'm thinking, oh, that's what they're talking about. I think that the purple sky is not our real sky. It's the part of our sky that has all these particles that are camouflaging things. Whereas the real blue sky doesn't have those particles so much, and they get blown away. But that's just me. That's how I think the
Liz, and we can actually put a link to the website that you were just talking about, the .gov site. We will put that on our website under you as well. But Liz, I do want to make sure that Giant Tyrant, because he was our fourth caller there, to make sure that he gets a chance to point out what he was going to on that video. And then, by the way, on your screen right now, the videos I've been playing are Giant Tyrant's videos. I just played at least 3 of them, including the one that they were talking about with the clouds behind the sun. So, Liz, I want to thank you for calling in tonight, and I appreciate you, and I'm glad that I got to connect you guys.
Can I just ask one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. I noticed that one of your callers said something about that he thinks something strange is going on with the stars. And I do too. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is for Giant Tyrant to maybe if you can focus on the stars as well. But what I am looking at, I've looked at the stars my whole life. And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing stars that I've never seen before. And one day I went out, I noticed that over a period of time, I did not see Orion. And then all of a sudden, I know that I have drones over my house. I have at least 3 drones over my subdivision or community all the time. They're much lower. And then we have stars farther up in the sky, and I can see them moving, and I know that they are satellites. But what's bizarre is that I went through a period of weeks where I couldn't see Orion. And then I went outside and I said to myself, but I was talking, and I said, oh, I just came out here to look and see if I could see Orion. I haven't seen it lately. Then all of a sudden it shows up the next day. So I know this sounds insane, but I'm asking Giant Tyrant to focus on maybe looking at the stars. See if you can see if they're moving.
I take a lot of pictures and videos of the stars too. I think maybe the stars, I mean, Orion moves slowly. It moves in a different spot every night, but there's been a lot of heavy cloud coverage around the moon area I think it's because of the secondary binary system is more collecting cloud systems around base clouds and debris, and it's blocking everything around the sun and the moon. But Orion's been more coming up on the east, and it's been around the moon lately, but it's been pretty visible the past couple of nights. But I know what you're saying, but I think it may just
focus on some of the stars and just see if you can see if they're. I know this sounds crazy. I'm a Christian girl. I love my Heavenly Father, and there is biblical scripture that talks about that the stars disappear or they fall from the sky.
So Liz,
and we just pulled up. I wonder about that.
We just pulled up too.
I'll let you guys go.
Liz, it was last week that we talked about the Inuit elders. Historically have been amazing forecasters. Just said that they believe, and across the whole country, the Inuits are from Canada, from northern Canada in the Arctic regions, and they say in both sections across the world, across the country, they are both saying that their sky has shifted, that they're not seeing the same sun, the same sky. Wow. So totally agree. Liz, I don't want to keep you. I know. The only thing is we're taking away from Giant's call. So if it's taking his time, as long as it's okay with him.
There's something on YouTube called the Hopi Legend, and it goes into much more detail about there's an elder that is around 50, 70 years old, and he was talking about the Hopi legends, and he went into a lot more detail. If you can find it, I think it's on blue or red Kachina. Try to look for that on YouTube. But he gives a bunch of information about the stars and what is going to happen in the end times. And if you get a chance to find it, find it. But I'll let you go because I don't want to take up any more of y'all's time.
Oh, you're fine, Liz. Thank you so much for calling in, and I'm glad you guys got to talk, and of course, great conversation.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you following me. Thank you. It was good to talk to you.
Yes, I look forward to more videos. Thank you so much for what you do, and Adam, I love you so much.
I'm glad I could introduce you guys. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right.
And then as far as all of this stuff, once you look for it, I believe it was Crystalinks.com is the one that I actually remember seeing what she was talking about with the Kachinas and everything else. But it could be. Again, link, well, not to this. I don't know if we'll have a link for that because I think that's something that people have to look for themselves. Okay, but Giant, So I pulled up. I actually
Yeah.
played a few of your videos, but we are low on time as far as hitting that 2-hour mark. So if you could just explain what that video is about, the first one, I believe, and then.
Yeah, I actually just uploaded another one too that was from that same day in the same cloud. I don't know if it's up yet. I don't think it's. It says uploaded complete, but it's not showing.
Let's see.
First part of the video, you could see how there's like three lines coming in and make it to a point almost where they're. I'm not watching the TV right now, but
yeah, it's weird. It's like claws, and they're all going towards the same. They're all going to one point.
It was good. They were doing that for a good hour and a half, probably. I would say, just like that. I mean, plane after plane, and there were so many of them. It was ridiculous, and it was just in that one spot, and then there was another spot behind me. A couple of the other videos I took of it show behind me, but I didn't post those on here. But you could see in that cloud, there's almost like what she was describing, where the different colors of blue, where it's like a lighter blue and darker blue. You could see the roundness to it, and I think that this is part of the binary system with the N word. I don't know if we could say the Planet X, or I don't know what kind of words we're not allowed to say about that.
I mean, you communicated it with X. That works.
Yeah.
So as far
I wish
as
that other video would hurry up and upload too, because you already showed this one while we were talking. But some of these, I have another video that uploaded just now. They flew it right in front of the sun, and you could see how it almost like splits the light of the sun from one side to the other, and it makes the light shine like differently on either side of the line. And then underneath it, there was this really strange cloud. Almost looked like some sort of like a cloaked craft or an asteroid or something. And at the same time, I have an asteroid app on my phone, and I got an alert for an asteroid going by. This is during a SpaceX launch, right before all of this stuff is going on. I'm at like right on the bridge overlooking the launch pad.
I can see you have some amazing videos of all of the launches, and then in combination with your super zoom camera, it's absolutely amazing.
I'm about to hit 2,000 subscribers too.
Let's do it live. Let's do it live. Hold on. All right, guys. So this is Giant with a J, Giant Tyrant. Let's be able to congratulate him on 2,000 subscribers. We helped him get his start. Let's help him get his finish here for 2,000. That's a big thing. If you think about that, 300 in a big room is a lot of people. 2,000 is a whole lot of people. So this is a really awesome thing. Let's refresh this. Let's see if we got enough people over there. And that would be a great way to end the call. So hold on. Let's see here.
Oh, that video just uploaded too. It should be on there if you refresh it.
And there you go. You are at now 2,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
And I still don't.
I couldn't have done it without you, Adam.
I still don't see it. You know, it does take anywhere up to an hour to process videos after it says it's downloaded. We know because we.
Oh, did you try and refresh that page again? I just refreshed it and it just showed up. It said it's the first video up at the top.
Yeah, again, that's on because you're logged in, Giant. But you are now up.
Okay.
You're up another 70 right now. Now you're at 2,070 subscribers. So you far surpassed it during our phone call here.
Awesome.
Well, we showed a good chunk of your channel off, and again, we got you to 2,000 subscribers. So again, thank you so much for putting up your content. But we are running out. If we go past 2 hours, it will not process the first part of the show. Again, thank you for calling in, Giant, and call us again. And maybe next week we can look at that second part 2. It'd be a great reason to call back in.
Yeah, definitely. I will for sure.
All right. Well, thank you, Giant Tyrant, guys. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, Adam.
Get some congrats in the chat. Congrats on 2K. All right. That was awesome. So let's see here. Let's refresh it again. And if it does pop up before we're off, we'll just end up kind of playing it out. This is what I'm talking about, though. You'd see on his end, it's showing him that it's up. So, like, if I'm a creator, I'll upload a video and I'll think, oh, yeah, it's up. But it's not really up. He's about to hit 2,200 subscribers. 2.19, so that's 2,190. That's pretty incredible. He has his camera is unbelievable. Him, RE55, and I believe one other have these. They're pretty pricey. They're specifically made to zoom in like 1,000 times, and I'm not exaggerating. I think it's 1,000 times zoom, and it's optical, so the lens goes out super far. They're this big. I mean, just insane. If you ever go to Best Buy, they've had one on display, and I've always played with it when I go in there, and I usually zoom it across Best Buy into like a little, barcode tag all the way at the other end of Best Buy. These things are amazing. But in combination with him spending the money to get that camera, he's been putting out the effort to put his channel together. So thank you guys for supporting him and everybody else that we point you to. Thank you for supporting the Foogle fam. Real quick to hit them, Beijing South China Sea military bases are vulnerable to attack and will be little use in a conflict, which is totally conflicting of what I've said. Of course, this is kind of basically saying I'm wrong because I believe this will be used as a forward operating base. I don't know if I'm wrong, but what I do know is look at this. They not only have runways, which we've known, and we've shown you the maps of them, but I've never seen an angle like this. Look at that. There's buildings and barracks. They've got, those are big buildings. I guess in my head, I'm just thinking like it's just an airfield, right? But this looks like grain silos or something. What the hell are those things? Do you see this? Dex, I don't know if you got a chance to look at this photo, but there's these buildings, and what's weird is why do the windows do that? Is this like concrete buildings? Are these military hardened buildings with like, it seems to me like the corners don't have windows for a reason. Or what is that? I guess if somebody knows exactly why they made that like that, are these hangars? Like what? I don't get that. And then it looks like these, what are those? Those are radars. I bet those are radars. That would make sense if those are those kind of dome radars. This is just one of the Spratly Islands. Again, it says the artificial islands China has built in the South China Sea are vulnerable to attack and unlikely to contribute much of any to a combat mission. I don't get why they're saying. I don't know about that. It says if they have their entire Navy around it, which is now 70 ships larger than the U.S. Navy, I don't know about that. It says the Chinese military magazine has warned. So it's their magazine saying it would be vulnerable. China has been transforming the reefs and atolls it occupies on disputed Spratly Island since 2015. In 5 years, they've turned this thing into a forward operating base. That's pretty fast. Which, by the way, they've had it up for 3 years. 2 years. So it only took them a couple years to literally create an island in the middle of the sea. Multiple, huge, military, submarine base, Navy bases. So, crazy. And it says it has also built airstrips and other military facilities and deployed equipment such as anti-aircraft guns and close-in weapon systems, according to the U.S. think tank for the center. So wait a second. This is vulnerable, but yet it has anti-air guns, close-up weapon systems, artillery, which we know from previous times. It's got airfields. How is this not a giant, basically a permanent carrier? Right? How is this vulnerable? And think about the Spratly Islands really hard when you think about all of the drills that we've covered here on Marfoogle News. The U.S. has been just nonstop doing these weird island hopping drills. If you don't believe me, Again, we actually link everything that we show you here. And when they show you that, they don't really connect it to anything. They just say, oh, the U.S. and all of our allies are doing these island hopping exercises. And they don't say anything else. They don't say, oh, it's due to the threat of the Spratly Islands or anything else. But anyone with half a wit can put together what the hell is going on. Pacific Defender, we are moving our artillery and our long-range artillery systems up to Alaska and off of the border of Russia. I mean, it's pretty clear what the hell is going on. They're setting up, preparing, and preparing is one of the smartest things you can do. The military, the government prepares for these things, so why as civilians do we not? That's why, again, we tell you, every time we mention EMP shield or something like that, we say, they're doing it. Why are we not? Okay, so let's see here. Military island hopping. Let's see here. U.S. military exercises island hopping. See, look at this. Nationalinterest.org. Again, by the way, this is again. The U.S. military is practicing island hopping again. Joint exercises began in California, where California Army National Guard's 40th Infantry invaded Camp San Luis Obispo last month. Okay, so also, this is something else we covered, and it is connected, and it was when they put it out, they never connected. Also, look at the contract that Boeing, or I want to say Northrop Grumman maybe, drop ships, right? Hey, Dex, what are those ships that, like we had in D-Day, that drop? Are those called, what are those called? Military amphibious transport port ships. Contract awarded. This was again so super separate, and you can see, like, what are they doing? Yep. Large deck soul builder. Okay, yeah, and they're doing all these amphibious ships. In fact, I just found out about other ones. Look at this ship protection system. Amphibious transport. What they're doing. Oh, this is it, I think. I actually just found 5 more things I did not know about. These are more. These are everything amphibious is getting worked on right now. And I believe this might be it. The reason I know is it's a Washington company, and they are. Look at this, General Dynamics. Is that it? I think that's here. This is something else, and this is more, and this is on the other side of the country. Or actually, no, sorry, that's the USS New York. So what is happening is they're making these military drop ships for island hopping. The ones that they drop the front, and then troops just get on out. They're making amphibious ships, which, by the way, remember that our amphibious carrier, our amphibious carrier that deploys these kind of ships, was just recently on fire for 5 days mysteriously. 3 months after China's amphibious carrier, the same exact ship, only China's version, was on fire for 5 days mysteriously, without ignition or any kind of source. In port, just like ours. Both in port, both amphibious carriers, both on fire for multiple days, both no explanation of how they caught fire or how a steel ship stays on fire for 5 days that doesn't have any kind of like curtains or, maybe bed sheets. But how did it stay on fire? Oh, and then shortly after, DOD comes out and says, oh yeah, directed energy is completely real, and Russia and China have now weaponized space. Right after the blast in a certain country that leveled everything and everybody talked about for a long time. So, I'll leave you at that. You guys can look into it, but if you watch the show all the time, you know exactly what the heck I'm talking about. And you don't need... I mean, look at it. We predicted the pandemic with simple information that was all there. You know, it just... Dexy?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Aha. So what I was going to say earlier about this article is that it looks to me to be kind of like a prop piece. And when you think about, if you look at the source, it's coming from the South China Morning Post, I believe, right?
Isn't that weird?
And yeah, and I think one lens to look here is to say, oh, this is not important, so you, America, shouldn't worry about it. Now we've got this big, potential change happening in our government right now, right? That's going on. So is this more of a setup to say, don't worry about these islands, they're fine, because you could just destroy them easily, when in reality that may not be the case, right? So I think this is kind of a prop piece on their part to try to say there's nothing to see here. You shouldn't worry about it. And then if we get people on your side to agree, then everybody's happy.
I think
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you. And as far as trying to justify, like, oh, don't worry about it. It's not, it's totally vulnerable. Like, it's not a threat kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're spot on. When you look at what's on there and when you see how it's built out and you see everything that's there, I mean, if it was super vulnerable, they wouldn't have invested that much into it. What? It was just, let's just build something to build it and let it be destroyed with, the flick of a wrist. No, they didn't do that.
No, and it looks like they have concrete reinforced buildings. They have close combat stuff. They have long combat stuff. They have an airfield to deploy planes. They have multiple islands, so one can protect the other. If one gets hit, the other can put out ships. Then they have the largest navy in the world now by 70 ships. And somehow they're unprotected. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. And it's coming from China source that is a government-affiliated magazine. It doesn't make too much sense. But you guys get it. Anyways, Dex, if we missed, what are we on time-wise? I know we're getting close.
We've got less than 7 minutes.
Okay. So, if we didn't hit something, in fact, I only missed our fluff piece, and then this is exactly what we were talking about. This is what the woman said. This scientist was killed using satellite-controlled gun. Okay, I want you guys to read this title really, really hardcore. And this was a nuclear scientist. I want you guys to understand what is really going on right here. Just talking about that ship. The ship that we were just talking about. The Chinese ship we were just talking about. The rods of God. A satellite-controlled machine gun was used in last week's assassination of a top nuclear scientist, the semi-official Mer News Agency reported. It says, who was killed in a gun and car boom attack on the outskirts of Tyrant and was driving on a highway east of the capital when a weapon zoomed in on him using artificial intelligence, Mer said on Sunday, quoting Commodore Al-Fadavi, deputy commander of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It says various accounts of his death have emerged since the incident. Well, early news reports said he was caught in a gunfight between his bodyguards. Others said that he was fired at by a remote-controlled, mounted on a pickup truck operated by someone who later fled the country. Which do you believe? One is caught in a fight between his bodyguards. Two is it was a truck-mounted machine gun, or 3, a satellite gun. 3, the most unlikely, is my choice. Because I know that they have it, and if it's starting to come out slowly that this is going on, it would make sense. If it was Ray L, then I would think, oh, it's something. But if it's them, I think that might actually might have been the case there. Karen from Columbus, thank you. Maui Racing Realtor, thank you. That Chalky Gal, Unicorn Forest, Christina V, thank you guys. Paul Shaggy, it looks like Tower Bear is our number 1 tonight again, but Gone Girl that's probably because Gone Girl's over on YouTube being absolutely nuts. Just huge support tonight from Gone Girl. Gone Girl, you didn't even write a message with that. Gone Girl 777 PRS, which I've never seen the PRS on there, but thank you. Gone Girl did a $50 super chat. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for donating towards independent news. Gone Girl, you know you don't have to do that, and we thank you, and that is seriously awesome. Jody Cattle Dogs says, came in late listening to 10 Gunderson Forum. Will replay your show. Didn't want to miss you. Kathleen Sims, thank you for the support tonight. Carol Reed, again, I will check on that. And then Eliza Nunez, thank you, Adam and Dex, for all your hard work. Thank you, Eliza Nunez, and thank everybody a part of this. Gone Girl 777 says, much love, Foogle fam, in the boondocks. Love you all. Gone Girl, thank you for stopping by even when you're out in the country or out in the boons or in a tent. Seriously, thank you. Haunted Doll, Orion is only visible from like November through February in the northern hemisphere. The rest of the time, it's out during the day, so we can't see it, says Haunted Doll. I get what you're saying. I believe that what the Inuit's saying, that maybe that one example that she used may be off, but I think I've noticed it too as far as stuff being off. And then the Inuits are judging it by all of the stars. So it would be harder to say that. One also thing is the moon. I feel like I guess I sound crazy even just thinking about it out loud. Ryan Hallett, thank you for subscribing. Welcome, Ryan Hallett, to the Foogle fam. And then D Earth Observer, thrive on, Foogle fam. Thank you so much. Terry, thank you. Appreciate you as well. And then Tower Bear, number 1 on D Live. Cat Zoom, number 2. You guys are both going on the board of Ninjets. And then we've got Johnson, Zippy Moons, and Baldylocks Awake. Jen and Baldylocks, you guys know you don't have to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being an awesome couple and being an awesome support of the show when you can. Johnson, when you can, thank you so much. Zippy Moons, thank you. All of you went above and beyond tonight. This month, The Truth is Out There, Tower Bear, Cat Zoom, Gone Girl, and Unicorn Forest are all our top supporters, so thank you. And then Amy R. is still our all-time forever, and I probably will stay that way. Gone Girl is our number 2 all-time supporter on D-Live for the entire year, and Tower Bear is number 3. Those names are familiar because they are on tonight's list. End Times and Kelly2334, who is also here tonight and also on the all times list. So thank you guys. It really does make a difference because we are able to do things. Again, we are building a platform that we used to have for free, but since we got booted off it, we're making our own. So thank you. That will be out soon. Okay, Dex, love you, brother. My internet fam. Everything
Great
else
show, brother.
will be
Love you
available on the website. For D Live, you won't have to do anything else. If you do want to join us for the other half of the shoutro, you can. It's where we call everybody out in the chat and where we thank the people that matter most here. You. Going right back, now we gotta go attacking. Terry, the Earth Observer, gonna bring it back now, heard her. Gotta do it like this, do it like that, everybody going back. Haunted Doll, he leaves a new nest, gonna bring it right back like homie Jazz. North Shore preparedness, gotta do it like everybody getting yes. With the Terry and the D Earth